Hello everybody, Adrian Albee here again with your third and final for this round, our kids cooking class. Today we're going to be talking about dinner and dessert. I'm going to get something going right away because I want to make sure we get it done in time. I'm going to cook some sausage for our lasagna. Okay, and that is literally just some breakfast sausage that we have left over from our breakfast that we did. And I'm going to do that now. You can use Italian sausages, the most common you're going to use in lasagna. But I want to show you that you can use breakfast sausage too, and it doesn't, sausage would, because we're going to add some of our Italian seasoning to it. So the Italian seasoning will make breakfast sausage into Italian sausage that works really well if you don't have Italian sausage.
So what are we making again? Maybe you said
Yep, so this is the first step in our lasagna, okay? And so the reason why I'm getting this going is because we're going to get that in the oven so that we can make sure we can have it looking real good for you when it comes out, okay? Because everything we're going to do today is for baking, okay? So this is just a little part here. And as we cook that, and I'm going to tell you a few things as we go along. And so it's a little non-traditional start here. If anybody is logged in, guys, say hi to us. We have our kitchen consultants that are joining us today.
We've already got Cheryl Myers, Rochelle Bell, Jessica Newkirk says hello, and so does Cheryl.
Hi, guys.
Glad to have you along.
So I'm chopping this up really fine, all right? I want it pretty fine. I don't want big chunks of sausage in there, just little chunks of sausage. And again, it's pork, so you want to have it cooked all the way through. And if there's any kids that are joining us today, make sure you chime on in and say hi to us as well. And one thing I'm going to really talk about more tonight than others is how the stuff you do around the food that you're preparing will really enhance the food that you're making and the experience for those that are enjoying your food, whether it's for you or whether it's for your family or somebody else. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks that are going to make it really, really good and easy for you to think about outside of the box what makes a restaurant quality home cooked meal as opposed to just a home cooked meal. Like what do restaurants do differently? So, all right, that I'm going to add a little bit more here.
Can I see what you're adding again?
This is our Italian seasoning blend.
Okay. So in case you're not familiar with our seasonings, they are all natural, gluten-free, no MSG, no additives, fillers, dyes, preservatives, just fresh ground blends that Adrian has designed, and they're amazing.
Thank you so much. And so today's really theme about dinner and about food overall is getting the little things right, okay? So we're going to talk about that. And with kids especially, helping them establish good understanding about what makes a good meal, what makes food really good to taste as opposed to just decent food. We're going to talk a little bit about those little things that you can do. I'll start with an example. I have two sons. One of them is Eagle Scout, and both of them have done tons of Boy Scout stuff, camping stuff, and I was there for pretty much every single camp out that they did. And a lot of times I was in charge of the food. Now, one thing I'm going to do real quick as we get things going, I'm going to go back and forth between my story and the preparation. I'm going to spray these, our mini lasagnas, okay? I'm going to do just 6 of those right there. Just a standard cupcake sheet. And we're going to do some lasagna in a little mini tray also as well. So there's a couple things that we were talking about.
Oh, you know what? I need to interrupt you.
Yep,
we need to real quick tell everybody about the bingo so they can be following along and listening
bingo.
for words.
So we have attached to the event.
It's on the event page as well as right here in our Save the Day page. We have a great, fun little printable bingo form that if you fill out all the way, it's going to be a blackout. You listen to those keywords, mark them off, send us a picture of it, message it to us, and we'll send you a free sample if you'd like.
Yes, absolutely. And there's only a few keywords, guys. There's 8 words totally that you have to just pay attention for. So look at that and play bingo with us along.
Okay.
Okay, so we have the 6 here. We're going to do a few just with these wonton wrappers. So this is a, if you like these right here, you can get at any store, like they're wonton wrappers, so you can use them to make wontons. But if you don't want to make like lasagna noodles, this is a great little thing you could do instead of, so you can just buy them.
Real convenient.
Since you really can't buy lasagna noodles already cooked. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a lasagna on the bottom there.
And you sprayed that.
And I did spray these ones right here, okay?
Okay.
And I'm gonna do a couple different layers, okay?
Now the wonton wrappers, I believe, are found in the refrigerator section, so don't let that confuse you when you're looking for where the pasta is. It's a refrigerated dough already made up.
Now just smelling this, of course you can't smell it. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between this, which is breakfast sausage with our Italian seasoning, or regular Italian sausage that you buy, which is already seasoned. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little red sauce. It's just going to be really simple because we're going to put a little red sauce.
So,
maybe a couple.
What age of kids do you think can make this type of
That's right.
dinner?
So any age kid can help, of course. For toddlers and preschoolers, you're talking about even putting these in there would be something they can do. They can maybe put a little spoon of red sauce in there and that kind of thing. The things you want to be concerned about is safety with toddlers, of course, and with safety it's really important that you keep them away from the hot stuff, but at the same time help them become aware of the heat and the danger of that. And so we're going to be baking these. So when you get to more middle range, you get to 4 to 7 years old, they can assist in putting it in or even taking it out of the oven at the higher age range. And then at 10 to 12, they can do all these basically unassisted. If they know how to do this.
With proper training.
With proper training, right. And understand, how things work in the kitchen, hot and cold safety, that kind of thing. I like to wear an apron. You guys see me always wearing a Save the Day apron. That's our old original logo. Because I'm really messy in the kitchen. So if kids are get their clothes messy or whatever, I just like have an apron so I can always wipe my hands off and that kind of thing. So it's helpful for that. And we're going to put a little bit of our sausage meat here. You put as little or as much as you want. And ricotta cheese is really common with, now I've washed my hands here, guys. I'm going to use my hands a little bit to place some of this ricotta. Really common for lasagna. Now, a really common alternative is cottage cheese, which you can use cottage cheese instead of ricotta cheese, and a lot of times can't even tell the difference. So a little bit of that and a little bit of mozzarella there.
I'd love to know if we have any kids present cooking along with us. Yesterday we had a couple, which was so much fun. So if you're here, kids, have your parents chime in and let us know that you're with us.
Thank you, absolutely. We're going to put one more layer in here, and then we're going to bake this for 20 minutes, okay? And so...
Now, if you were to fill up the whole muffin pan, would you cook it for 20 minutes still, or would that be longer?
Well, you want to be careful because you want to get the inside dough cooked when it's all done, and so it's done at the same time. So you're not burning it or getting it too done, and so it's raw in the middle and that kind of thing. I would keep these at a 2 maximum layer, okay? An original layer, and then you fill it, and then you do one more layer on top of that. We'll do just the same thing. Any more than that, and it starts to get a little bit more difficult to making sure it's going to be cooked in the middle. It's helpful because these have space all around the outside, and that'll help it get cooked in, whereas this, it's going to be more volume, so it'll be harder and longer for, or not harder, but longer for it to be penetrating and cook all the way through.
Which makes sense if you were to buy a frozen lasagna already all made. It does take quite a while in the oven, so that makes sense.
Yes, and in fact,
really
those
long.
frozen lasagnas, you throw them in, I think, for about an hour.
Yeah, they're pretty long.
Yeah.
Oh, a lady named Lena Diaz says she's got her 2 little ones watching with her, so welcome.
Lena, awesome, welcome. Tell me your little ones' names and how old they are. Whenever you want to. Now, what we like to do,
So let me see what you're doing here. We've got,
I'm putting the ricotta, and actually I put the mozzarella on a little too soon. I don't want to put the mozzarella. I want to sprinkle a little bit more of our Italian seasoning on.
Oh, yes.
That's really what I want to do. And then what we're going to do right before we pull these out is we'll put the cheese on about 5 minutes before these come out so that that cheese on top doesn't get burnt or overdone. Okay? So I'll just do 3 right now. We'll put those in. Set the timer. Let's just set it for 15 minutes and check and see how it's looking after that.
Okay.
Put some cheese on there. Let's do it really, really quick. I'll show you. We don't need to get this in right away. The lasagna noodles is I've just cooked these, just boiled them for about 10 minutes. Now these take longer than regular noodles to cook. They're big and they're thick, but you don't want to cook them too long to where they're mushy because you're also going to cook them once you make them into lasagna, so they'll continue to get soft. But you can see we've got a standard size lasagna noodle right there, and it's loose, limp, but not
Mushy?
Not mushy. And as I cut it, it's still fairly solid. So you can put it 3 layers across. What you tend to do with lasagna always is put a little coating of the sauce on the bottom. I've also sprayed that as well so that it really doesn't stick to the bottom.
Oh, that's a nice trick.
But a little
So it's
sauce
not dry.
on the bottom will always take care of that too, okay?
So this is a cute little pan, right? But you could do a bigger one if you wanted
yes.
to.
And so as we talked
This is like a
about
little
different
pan.
levels that you can do, lasagna is one where you can take it to a few different levels, right? So based on your ability, level 1 is your basic. You can just throw it together with wonton wrappers and throw a few layers on there, put it in the oven. That's level 1. Level 2 would be then you can do it in the casserole dish with the actual boiled noodles. You can do this in the cupcake pan as well with lasagna noodles. It's just harder to because they're real thick.
wide.
They're kind of made for the bigger applications. Right? And then level 3, you can do full-size lasagna. And between level 2 and level 3, you can throw different ingredients in there as well. So you can throw vegetables, onions, mushrooms, squash or zucchini is a good one to use.
Spinach?
Spinach you can
I
use.
think I've
it's
seen
really
spinach.
common. You can do a white sauce. So these are different level 2, level 3 options that you can do with lasagna. And certainly substitution, something I specialize in is, of course, ricotta cheese, often more expensive. So cottage cheese sometimes works well for a budget. And you don't even need to have meat if you don't want to have meat. This is a real easy vegetarian or vegan option for a lot of people. They have really, really good vegan and vegetarian cheeses nowadays, whereas in the old days they were really pretty not that good. But if I put a little bit of sauce here, and
Let's see how we're doing this. So you layer
a little
noodle,
sauce, a little meat,
Okay.
and again, kind of as much or as little as you want, but when you do multiple layers, then you don't need a lot in each layer, you know, and we would probably do this about 3 layers deep to where it comes just below the very top of the dish.
Okay.
I am going to put some cheese in there.
So just to let you know, the kids joining us, Aiden is 10, Evan is 4. That's a great range.
Evan, great. Thanks for joining us, guys. And then what I'll do is put that on. I'll do that whole thing again another time. I'll put toppings on except for the mozzarella on top and then bake that. And now with the bigger the lasagna, you'll want to cover that up instead of leaving it uncovered. And then bake it for the first bit. And like this is going to take about 30 to 40 minutes to bake. Probably 30 minutes. But you would take it out after about 20 and remove the cover.
So
Put
cover
on
foil?
it.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll have all the recipes for you guys with all the tips and tricks in the document today sometime, okay, with everything on it. Okay, so we've got that in, and that, I'll tell you a little story about the Scout Camp thing. So this is why we're talking about the little things, okay, that make your food really special or not, okay? So Scout Camp breakfast, notorious, if you do pancakes, almost always you're going to get cold syrup and cold butter. Because Scout Camp means you wake up and it's cold. So I was always in charge of the food because I love doing the food. I love camping and doing food, and I love doing it out in nature anyway. And there's 2 things that I did, all right? The butter, instead, because you know what happens if you put cold butter on pancakes is it'll tear the pancake, or you put a plop of cold butter on and it'll melt, and so you have a little pool of melted butter in one area, and then you can spread the sort of melted rest of the butter around the pancake. But if you have nice soft butter, then it goes around the pancake nicely. Everybody likes the pancake. And then, even if you have nice cold or nice warm butter, if you put cold syrup on top of that pancake, well, then everything is cold, right? So all I did is I had a little on my stove, my camp stove. I had a little pot with some water in it, and I got that heated up, not to like boiling or anything, and I put the bottle of syrup inside that and let it heat probably 20 minutes just while getting breakfast ready. It's just sitting there, and then they don't expect that. All they expect is a cold bottle of syrup. But they put that on, and even if the butter was cold when it started, which it wasn't, because you can do the same type of thing with the butter tub, it warms it up. And so I got so many compliments about how fantastic the pancakes were, right? Because they put it on and it's warm. And the reality is the pancakes were the same, right? The pancakes were the same whether I do it the other way or not. But the people will notice because, number one, the syrup was warm and the butter was melted and easy to spread. It makes the eating experience like it takes away those things where you would look at it and you would say, and you would eat it, well, thank goodness somebody made some food for me, right? Thank goodness we have food. And don't try to look for excuses to enjoy eating. They're just there for you, right? Any questions, comments by anybody yet?
No, we're just enjoying. If you want, I can real quick talk about our drawing.
Why don't you? Yeah, that'll
Yeah.
be great.
So if you didn't know, first of all, we have 18 seasoning blends that we sell. Our consultants that are present, feel free to post your shopping links in the comments. We also have a document that shows in our posts the different websites that you can order from. But we have a special. We have a 6-box. Here's our variety box where we have 6 little, these are cute little travel size seasoning blends. So you can enter to win 6 of those. You get to pick them. We have the drawing form in there as well. So fill out that drawing slip and the prize will be announced on Monday. However, if you want to purchase this particular box of 6, we have a discount code. It's KIDS for kids, and you get $5 off if you want to purchase that. Makes a fun little starter set for your kids to experiment in the kitchen.
Thank you so much. And all that stuff, guys, we've done a lot of work out on our shopping cart area, so we're hoping that as time goes on here, that will continue to be an easier, smoother, and more intuitive process. We've done a lot of improvements out there right now, guys. So I just grabbed from the fridge here. What we have is our next thing we're going to do is our little corn dog nuggets, okay? And we have some different levels that you can do with this as well. Real basic is what we're going to do today, but I'll tell you some other things that you can do if you want to take it to level 2, level 3, or whatever, okay? So we have your basic refrigerated crescent dough, okay? These are the kinds where you open
the tube.
The tube pops open, and then that in itself is a kid-friendly activity. It's opening the tube and watching them pop.
Used to scare me, actually.
Well, see, you get the two reactions. You get the people who are like, well, everybody like wants to see it happen, but like, when is it going to happen and when's it going to pop? And so you have it, and it spreads out into this, and you can tear these in triangles, and that's when you would roll them up and get the crescent dough and make the crescent shape. In this case, we're going to leave them like that, okay? And I'm going to kind of press it together a little bit in the middle to get rid of that perforated right there.
Gonna seal it together.
Yeah, and then we're just going to cut it in rectangle shapes, just like that. I might cut it in half, and I might cut each one into a few different pieces. Whatever you think, it's up to you. And then we have some hot dog right here.
I'm getting feedback that you're a little hard to hear. Maybe slow it down and speak louder.
You know, I have a tendency to mumble, so thank you very much. All you have to do is type mumbler, like the Willy Wonka movie.
Mumbler.
Mumbler, that tends to be me. So thank you very much. I'll try to keep it up and speak more clearly. So we have just regular hot dogs here, okay? But you could do like the mini dogs, the little smokies and things like that, or whatever you want. You can even do these with brats or smoked sausage or something like that if you want. So this is your level 1, just your basic hot dog.
Uncooked right now?
Uncooked, totally uncooked. And you can take that and you can just wrap it right. Oh, I forgot. We got to put our seasoning on, of course. On this one, I love. You can do the incredible, the Italian, like the strong arm is my favorite on this, and so I'm going to put the strong arm on. That has a little bit of sweetness. This one happens to be our most popular as a barbecue rub. Really good, but also great on all kinds of stuff. Potatoes, your eggs in the morning, your popcorn, or little smokies with a wrap on them. So just
to confirm, we had a question. The hot dogs are not heated up yet. Just to confirm,
correct.
They are raw, just out of the refrigerator.
We're gonna bake these, yeah. So they're raw out of the refrigerator, and we're gonna wrap that up with the strong arm.
Okay, let me see if I can get a good angle to see how you roll that.
It's a very simple roll.
Okay.
Where you like that and like that, where you would put it then on your tray. You may want to give this just a little bit of a spray. You don't need a lot. It probably would be fine without, but we just don't want it to stick very much there at all. So we'll do a few of these.
And in case you didn't know, Strong Arm stands for All-Purpose Rub Marinade, which just means it's really versatile, especially with the meats. It's got a little sweetness to it. We love it on potatoes even and all kinds of things.
And thank you. And I'm hoping our consultants are putting their websites in the comments, hopefully. And if you are a Save the Day consultant, you sell our seasonings, thank you for joining us. And make sure you put your website in the comments so people can order. And visitors, please go to one of our consultants' websites and pick out your favorite seasonings. Again, we have some great specials going on right now. And that's all there is to it with that. But the little bit of seasoning on there, it's going to be unbelievable how much a difference that makes in the flavor of these. And it'll take that and then it puts it into that next level of something extra. Not just hot dogs wrapped in croissant dough, where you're dependent then on the quality of the hot dog. It's got to be a really good hot dog for that to taste really good. But you put the seasonings on, and just like so many of our other things, it takes just the basic and ordinary and makes it into extraordinary. So when we got 4 minutes left on that, and we'll glance in there. It is cooking, and let me turn on our oven light, see if we can see. You can see those are cooking. You can see around the edges
getting a little
dark. So next time I might want to tuck those a little bit in instead of having them over on the edge of the side. Okay, so we have those, and those are ready. Those are in there. If you wanted to do even more with this, right? So level 1, really easy doing something like this. But really, if you wanted to do full-on hot dogs or corn dogs, of course, you can buy frozen corn dogs and just throw them in the oven. They're not bad. You can also, level 3 or level 4, you can make your own corn dog batter and make your own corn dogs, which are not super hard, but the frying part is tricky because most of the time people have like a special tool that holds on to the corn dog while it's in the grease. So that's a different lesson right there, but you can do those kinds of things, and those are the kind of things that once in a while you throw something like that in there. Hey, we made homemade corn dogs tonight, because really the batter is super easy to make. And you can do something like that and be like, oh yeah, remember we made homemade corn dogs, you know, and it could be years ago, but yeah, we made homemade corn dogs before.
I know, our kids, sometimes their best memories are around food, right? You want to have those experiences together with your kids, and with us being home more, it gives you a great opportunity to have this time together be meaningful and memorable.
Right, and so if you're a kid and you really like cooking, or you just want to know some more about how to get some food that's good for you, or good tasting, and not have to bug your parents, or Mother's Day's coming up again.
Yes,
you mentioned it.
2 days.
You want to cook something for your mom, it's a great day to do it and show her that you care and that, you know what, it's pretty easy to make pretty good food too. All right, so we have that. Okay, was I going to say anything else about those? Oh, in addition to that, like you can do with regular hot dogs, you can make a regular hot dog into something really fancy by adding your favorite toppings to it. Right? So for example, you don't have to do hot dog bun with relish and onion and ketchup and mustard, right? You can put sauteed onions and mushrooms on there, and you can put melted cheese, you can put whatever you want. And the one thing I wanted to show you here was the dipping, okay? Oops. After we get those in, I was going to show you, because that's not going to take too long to cook. I actually did a few up earlier where
Ooh, don't those look yum?
Yeah, they're just very nice, but just by themselves, that's fine. They're going to taste good. Of course, you got that nice seasoning on them. But wouldn't it be nice if you had this really good dipping sauce? So I have a really easy, really good dipping sauce. And this is half ketchup, half mayonnaise, right? And there's a few ways you could take this, because my favorite is the Strong Arm. It makes it great like a fry sauce. Think about a really good fry sauce. The Alvy's Incredible or the Strong Arm are really, really good. But since we use the Strong Arm in the hot dogs, we're going to put a little bit of the Alvy's Incredible. Now, you really can put the Italian, the Cajun in there would be good if you want to. And again, we'll have a recipe for that, proper proportions. But you could do just ketchup with a little bit of Alvy's Incredible, and it makes even better fry sauce than ketchup. Or
It's
you can
delicious.
do just mayonnaise and add some of our seasoning, and it's really great on a sandwich or something like that.
So you could, if you want, you can have your earlier experienced cooks do that stirring, give it a little stir to make that fry sauce. And most kids, it's amazing what you'll get them to eat if there's something to dip it in. So you can make a easy veggie dip with our seasonings as well. Or
you say that Alex Incredible, the ranch.
oh no, I haven't talked about that.
A really popular one is the ranch, basically a ranchy dip, which use our dip recipe, which is half cup each, sour cream and mayo, and then our Always Incredible seasoning. Tastes like unbelievable. You can just make a ranch dressing out of it or a dip. So you add a little milk or buttermilk to that dip recipe, and you got a great dressing. And again, all of them, you can use various seasonings if you want to. So on this, like I said, we didn't put the little bit of mozzarella on top. So that's what I was going to do, just put that on. But you can see they look good. They look like they're getting done. Like I said, I wouldn't want it folded over the top probably next time. So I'll just give that a few minutes, maybe 4 minutes. And
Don't you just want to eat one of those? They look so
see
fun
how
to
it
pop
goes.
in your mouth.
And so there's that. Okay? If you have any other cooking questions, anything about hot dogs, lasagnas, or anything else food related,
Yeah,
ask away.
I'd like to know if Aiden or, let's see, what were their names? Aiden and, oh, I can't find
See,
it.
I have to hear a name like 6 times before I remember it for sure.
How are the kids cooking? Oh, here we go. Aiden and Evan.
Aiden and Evan.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. I'd love to hear more about what kinds of things, if they do like to cook, or if they have any questions or something they would like to know about cooking in the kitchen. So, we're going to move on to our dessert portion now, guys.
Yes.
If you want. And my favorite part, because we're, should I be embarrassed to say we're a family that actually leaves room for dessert after most meals?
And have dessert maybe even after lunch.
Yeah, and maybe a sweet breakfast too,
Yep.
like pancakes and waffles. Anyway, if you like sweets, we have what you need, because we also make, along with our seasonings, a universal baking mix that you can do a whole bunch of different stuff with: cakes and cookies, cupcakes, muffins. You can do pancakes and waffles. They're a little bit sweeter, because basically this is a dessert baking mix that you can do all kinds of different stuff with. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to use this to make, today, chocolate chip cookies. And we're going to add 3 ingredients. So we have right here, the recipe is 3 cups universal, thank you very much, 3 cups universal baking mix, 2 eggs, 2/3 cup butter softened, and then your chocolate chips. 1
That's
cup.
it?
That's it. That's all you gotta do.
That's all you
And
need.
you can make peanut butter cookies, you can make snickerdoodles, you can make all kinds of different cookies with this same mix. And so it's really awesome. So I'm gonna put that in my stand mixer. Now you don't have to have a stand mixer, you can just have a big bowl with a spoon. And kids love to mix stuff like this. And so if you do have a stand mixer, it just makes it a lot easier, because you don't have to then mix it. And I'm gonna turn that on. It's not gonna be on high, it's on lower medium. Let's see how the key with cookies is the butter, right?
The butter.
When people say butter softened, the word softened means a lot of different things to different people.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about how softened changes the consistency of your cookies, right? So right here, this, as you can see, I am pushing, and it is soft, right? It is soft. I can push it and move it, whereas a stick of butter would be very hard. I wouldn't be able to. And melted butter, I wouldn't be able to either, because it would be melted.
It'd be all liquid.
Completely liquid. So if you want your cookies to not, if you're having trouble maybe with your cookies falling too flat, it might be that your butter is melted too much. Now, once it gets hot, it starts to separate. So that's where you have other types of things you can do with butter when you actually want it to separate, but with cookies you do not want it to, because then it acts even worse with cookies. And that's when you tend to get bubbles in your cookies, and they get the wrong consistency, and they're not beautifully chewy, and they have a great texture. But this is about what you want right here. So I actually took, about 20 minutes ago, I took out 2 sticks of butter, and I put it in the microwave for about 20 seconds. Or I took 2/3 cup, which is a little bit of 2 sticks. And then I just left it out at room temperature after that. So it started to melt, and it had some melted part, but what you end up having, if you take it straight from the fridge, what you have is partly all the way melted and partly still totally cold. So that's why I left it out at room temperature for a little while after that. Now if you need it right away, don't melt it for too long, but you can melt it and then stir it a little bit with a fork.
Oh,
or something,
okay,
and
mix
then
back
melt it
in
a
the-
little bit more.
Okay.
To try to, because it's really key that you have nicely melted butter.
Kinda
Now, this
consistent.
is the top end of how thick I would want it. I wouldn't want it any thicker than that at all. And there's our lasagna noodles.
So nothing's in there yet, but only the universal baking mix. So it's just
Just the
getting
bacon.
ready
It really
for
doesn't even
yeah.
need to be started
No.
because I'm going to put the eggs in there as well. But there's your little.
Okay, let's take a look. These are little mini lasagnas, which are super cute. Again, kids are often more apt to eat their food if they make it and if it's cute.
And I put the top just for looks.
And
I
small.
Put a little bit of seasoning on top. You can put a little Parmesan cheese or something
Make it a
like that
little fancy.
on top. And we'll see about getting one out there.
Yes.
And putting it on a little plate. All right.
Rochelle Bell says she's not a huge fan of baking, so the universal baking mix makes it so much easier and less cleanup, which is a
Yeah.
good point.
When I want to make cookies and I start to make a scratch recipe and then I make it from this, I'm like, oh, it's so much easier. So I'm going to put 2 eggs. Now, be real careful when you're using a stand mixer that you don't put anything in there while it's actually moving, okay?
Good safety tip.
So you do that, and then definitely don't put even utensils or anything into it while it's moving to try to like taste it or anything like that. Just very important that you don't do that. So I'm going to mix that, and the only moisture is going to be this and that, okay?
Now, if you're a younger, newer cook, it's probably safer to empty those eggs into a separate bowl first and then pour it in once you're sure there's no shells.
Yeah,
That would be
great
a little
idea.
tip.
Yep. I did show some tips about cracking eggs
Yes.
the other day.
Uh-huh.
Doing it on the side of a bowl or on the counter or against other eggs and things like that. So with this, what we're going to do is just mix that for like 30 to 45 seconds, and then we're going to add our chocolate chips and then put them in the oven. That is how easy it is. Now you can hear that it's starting to work a little bit. It's working a little bit there. Okay, done. Now you don't want to make it work too hard. Now I actually am missing my little hook attachment. I'm not sure where it is in storage somewhere, but
Oh, yeah.
that is the ideal hook or ideal attachment for cookies. When it gets to this one here, this is fine. It'll work.
Now, Adrian has washed his hands, so if you're a child cooking for someone else, you might want to use a spatula or just make sure your hands are clean.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and my hands are totally clean. I've been washed, and it's just my family eating. So,
Yes.
what I'm trying to say is you don't want to overwork your electric mixer, and this will overwork it if you let it too much, right? So we want to mix that too much, but it's a nice texture right now. Sorry, I'm going to rinse my
Well,
hands.
especially since the universal baking mix already is mixed. So the dry ingredients are ready to go. All you're adding is the wet ingredients. So it doesn't take terribly long.
That's right. So baking powder, baking soda, all those things are in here in the right proportions. If you need to make a cake, you need to add just a little bit more baking powder, but all the other ingredients is just like tweaking water, eggs, oil, baking powder for a cake.
And I don't think we have handy, but a universal baking mix recipe or universal recipe will come with your purchase. So we have one for our seasonings. So if you're working savory, we've got recipe card that gives you some really great tips how you can use any of our 18 blends in your recipes. So let's say you're making the dip or a sauce or a soup or marinade. The recipe can be used on any flavor. And then with the universal baking mix, there are actual recipes on the back side of the large box. You can see here it's going to give you an idea how easy you can make cupcakes. These are what we're making now. You can see it was just the mix, the butter, the eggs, and chocolate chips. There's other cookies, peanut butter cookies, snickerdoodles. You can do pancakes, brownies, muffins. And this is really the only mix out there that can do that. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I did find the recipe card she's talking about here. On the front it talks about our sweetenings and things you can do with that. We're not featuring that today. But on the back has our universal baking mix and some of the things that we've got about twice that menu now we can do. Just by tweaking a few things like oil, butter, eggs, and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so,
makes it really easy.
to do. And right here we've got our chocolate chips, and we're just going to mix those in just by hand, okay? And I love, and our family loves, using the mini chocolate chips for chocolate chip cookies because you tend to get more, kind of like a bang for your buck situation where you have large chocolate chips, you might end up with fewer chocolate, same amount of chocolate, but fewer chocolate chips. This way it tends to spread through the cookie more, and so
Yes.
in more bites, you have chocolate.
Yeah, well, that's
So-
important.
So there we go. We have that. The
Okay.
cookie sheet you do not have to grease. It can remain ungreased.
So even if it's a metal cooking sheet or you have a silicone pad, you do
That's
not
right.
need to grease it.
No. You'll need to use a spatula to get it off. Metal spatula preferred, because this will be hot probably still when you get it off. You don't have to press it down. You can press it down, it's not going to hurt. They will spread out more if you press it down. I tend to find that with our baking mix, they do get a little bit wider.
Okay.
So there's a few levels that you can do with this too. So you can, if you want to show off a little bit, we have a customer that turned me on to this usage right now. You can make chocolate chip cookies. These are fantastic, just like this. I'm going to grab from right behind Jen.
Well, so he said we weren't featuring the sweetenings, but we actually are right now going to showcase one of our sweetenings.
Here we go.
So let's have
You're
you come
right.
around.
This was like a last minute add-on. I was thinking, what about this? Because this is what a customer told me about. He actually even is simpler. He'll just buy the frozen dough or the refrigerated dough. Or if you want to make it from scratch, it's from scratch just like that.
Almost as easy.
Almost as easy. But you can take that and dip it in. Now I would put this in a separate bowl, you know, and dip it. I'm not leaving crumbs behind in there. But if you put that just like that,
So what flavor is that?
that is the salted caramel. What that's going to do is it's going to leave like a crust, a delicious crust around the cookies. And the customer says, him and his family, this is the only way they do cookies now. And
So our sweetenings, we actually have 7 different flavors. Would you just tell them real quick those flavors so they know their
I'm
options?
going to put these in
Okay.
right now. And that's it to cook that. And our sweetenings are different from the seasonings, but they do the same kind of thing for your desserts as the seasonings do for your cooking. In a way, because you can use any of our flavors. There's chocolate, strawberry, lemon, pumpkin spice,
Peanut butter.
peanut butter, and then the salted caramel and brown sugar cinnamon are actually our 2 most popular flavors.
Yes.
And that you can use them to make different things, like ice cream toppings. You can make cheesecake with them. You can make, did I say frostings? You can make frosting. You can use them to flavor the cookies and things that you do.
Mix them in your hot drinks, hot
Yeah.
cereal, or ice
We
cream.
make popsicles with them. We actually have a series of videos that we've done
Yes.
featuring our sweetenings, doing things like flavoring coffees, doing popsicles, and lots of other things too. Very easy, very useful to use.
Now, just want to remind you kids, if you're following along with the bingo game, even if you watch this recording after this is over live, you are still welcome to enter. Just print out your form there, the bingo form, and mark out the words as you hear them. I think we've hit most
We've hit
everything.
most of them. There are a few, maybe 1 or 2 that we haven't. But
Okay.
I mean, I love. Sorry about that. I love making a mess. Is what I love doing. Actually. And so it's hard for me to keep things clean. I do like to make it very clean after I am messy, but I work a little bit messy. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
That's
because
right.
It's a little
It's
bit kid-like. I understand that.
Creativity oftentimes brings a little mess, and that's
It
okay.
does, yeah. Okay, so I was talking about there was a couple levels. The level 2 is like putting it with some sweetenings or something like that, and you can do some of the other flavors as well. Peanut butter with chocolate chip would work great, for example, and like a sugar cookie with a lemon or a strawberry dip would be really nice
yes.
as well. And so those are good ideas. And also, once cookies are done, I was thinking, well, what's I do level 3? Well, level 3, take the cookies when they're done. You can do a few different things with them. You can make ice cream sandwiches with them. You can dip them in melted chocolate or things like that. And you can put sprinkles on them when they're done and decorate them any way you want. Like a little cake, you can do a little cookie, fun things like that. And really, when you do things like that with your kids, like it doesn't matter what you're doing. They will remember that experience. And like I was telling yesterday about peanut butter and celery has no business really being in my life together, but they are together in my life because every time I want something healthy, I grab celery and peanut butter because I did it with my grandma when I was a kid. That whenever I wanted something, it was good enough. I liked it. She made me eat it, and then I just ate it on my own, you know. And so anyway, there's things like that we can do with our kids, and it doesn't really matter what you're doing. It's just that you are doing.
You're spending time together.
Yeah. Okay, so we have those in. Let me just make sure I hit everything we're supposed to hit.
Yeah.
I mean, the cookies, those are going to be super, super yum. I can't wait for those to come out. We did the sauce with the hot dogs as well.
Yep, we've got the hot dogs right here.
Mm-hmm.
The dipping sauce. You know, this cookie dough is pretty good as it is, but I guess there's raw egg, huh? So maybe that's not best
You know
to
what?
eat this.
Actually, I mean, who doesn't eat? I have literally on my list for the age-appropriate activities. For toddler, they can help put the ingredients in the bowl. That's super fun. Rolling the cookie balls, and I also have eating the dough.
Yes.
Right, so eating the dough all ages is fun. And then as you get a little older, you can mix the ingredients by yourself, right? And then as you get a little older, you can even bake them unassisted, without worrying about safety, as long as you know how to take care of yourself in the kitchen, okay, for kids.
Yeah, in fact, with all the things that we have posted, there is a information sheet that shows age-appropriate activities that you can find in there as well.
Yeah, did you want me to mention just a couple of them? Or,
Sure.
Well, just real quick here.
Yeah.
I will mention some of the age-appropriate activities that she is talking about. This is in younger kids. We're talking about toddler age, gently stirring, squeezing lemons, and salad spinning, mashing potatoes, picking leaves off herbs. As you get a little bit older, you can do things like stirring batter, using plastic cookie cutters, pouring liquids, things like that. You get a little bit over, then you can maybe start using a knife. 6, 7 years old, right? A little bit using the knife and figuring out how knife safety and hot and cold safety works.
Especially with like softer things like strawberries
Yep.
or fruit, avocado or something that's you don't have to put a lot of pressure on for starting out.
Yeah, so you watch out for things that you do and don't have to put a lot of cutting pressure into. It's the stuff in the middle that's usually the safer stuff, right? So it's the real soft or the real hard stuff that's a little bit safety issue, right? But you get to 8 to 12 years old, you can do a lot of stuff like using a stand mixer, and even doing some more chores like helping in the kitchen, dishes, loading, unloading the dishwasher, helping clean the kitchen, and things like that. Skewering food is something like they can do. That's fun. Making wraps like we did yesterday, and then leading up to ultimately working independently in the kitchen, right? And coming up with your own things. Seeing something that you want to make, and then something comes to your mind of how to make it better, right? That's how you become more proficient in the kitchen, by doing a little bit each day, and of course we have to eat each day. We can eat easy. It's real easy to eat easy, but it's not easy to eat healthy or tasty, all right? So with a little effort, and our seasonings, of course, do a lot of the work for you. Our sweetenings do a lot of the work as well. You can do the healthy, the tasty, and the easy cooking with the kids, without the kids.
Yes. And in case you didn't know, we have consultants here with us, but we're always looking to grow. And so if anyone out there might be looking for some additional income opportunities, message us, let us know. We'll give you some more information. Or even if you want to just host an online event, we do these kind of cooking demos online, and you can earn free product and rewards for doing that. So let us know.
We've got a great special this month, actually, with our Join, which is you get 25% in free product for whatever the sales for the event is. So 25% in free product.
For hosting?
For hosting.
You said join, so.
My mistake.
Yeah, that's okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I think that is just about it. The cookies are not going to be done quite in time, but you can see how those are going to start to have a little bit of a crust, and these are going to flatten out just nicely, so you don't have to worry about pushing them ahead of time. In fact, recommend not pushing them down ahead of time so they don't spread out too much.
And don't forget to enter the drawing to win the 6 free jars. We are excited to announce that on Monday, so fill that out and share this video so everyone else can enjoy.
Awesome. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.